Welcome back to the Weekly Ring. My name is Jaisha Smalls, and this week we have a special treat for you. But first, let's see what's happening around campus, and then we'll take a trip back into Bennett's history.
Hey Bells, this is Byra's Buzz, and this is what's happening this week at Bennett College. Come out to the CAF every Wednesday for the Wednesday in the Word Bible study from 12:10 to 12:50. You can contact Reverend McLean for more information. Would you like to keep your grades up this semester? The Division for Student Success and Retention is here to help. You can go to your email and find the online tutoring request form and schedule your tutoring services today. On January 29th, we'll be celebrating another new year. That's the Chinese New Year. It will be hosted by Global Studies in the dining hall with guest speaker Amy Cow. Happy Rat Year, Bells. The United Methodist Church has scholarships available for all HBCU students. You can apply online at www.gbhem.org. Would you like to travel the world? Well, first you need a passport. You can go to the Center for Global Studies and start your application now. And that's Byra's Buzz. Thanks for tuning in. You can also contact me on social media at Bell Media Group.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jaisha Smalls, and I'm your host of Bel Air Radio. But today, you can catch me on the Weekly Ring with two well-known Bennett alums. Introduce yourself.
I'm Weta Rush Hodnett, the daughter of a Bennett. He was what we call a Bennett son. My father graduated from Bennett in 1916, I think it was. And then he went on to Gammon Theater. And my mother graduated from Storer College in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. So I was blessed to have two parents that were educated.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you are?
And I am Elizabeth Patterson White, 1970 graduate of Bennett College. I met Mrs. Weta Hardnett, Mrs. Weta Scarborough Hardnett. I think it was in 1968 here at Bennett College.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
You needed funds, and I had the need of a residence hall director.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
So I hired you to be the director of Reynolds Hall.
And it was certainly, it was just a wonderful thing. I enjoyed doing that, and I was able to stay at Bennett and finish in 1970 as a dormitory residence director there in Reynolds Hall.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So, Reynolds, you were the RA director?
I was the
director.
director. I had gotten married. Let me go back a little bit. In 1959-60, I graduated from George Fish High School in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and it was a segregated high school. And I wanted to come to Bennett because Ms. Arabelle Love, who was a Bennett College graduate, was my high school home economics teacher.
Wow.
So that's what got me interested in Bennett. And after I got to Bennett in 1959, I stayed until February of 60. And at that time, I decided that I'd leave because I wanted to marry, and I did, had 2 children. And then when I came back and I was getting ready to quit again, you stopped me. You said, unpack your clothes, you're not going anywhere.
Yes, I did.
And I remember that as if it were yesterday, and I'm getting ready to celebrate 50 years out of Bennett, so that's been a while back.
Okay. My father came to Bennett, and his first cousin came to Bennett, and my mother's first cousin came to Bennett, and they introduced them, and then they had a double wedding.
Wow.
I bet that was really fun.
Yeah, double wedding. I never heard of double wedding.
Well, that's when 2 couples get together, and the preacher marries both of them at the same
your
time.
father married them.
No, my father was one of the ones getting
married.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you attended Bennett, what was that like? What year did you attend Bennett?
I attended Bennett in 1950. Wow. I graduated in 1950. Yes.
What was your major?
Clothing, and mine was art.
Wow.
Yeah. And I made you should see some of the figures. I wish I thought about it. I made a clay figure of a man kneeling,
Oh.
and then I had the head, big whole head of a man, the man's head, made from clay. We had to wash the clay, put it in water, and it would be liquid, and then we put it out in the sun so it could dry, so we could make figures with it. So I made a man kneeling, and after it dried, then we had to put it in the what they call it, kiln, the kiln, to finish drying it out or bake it, and then we put a finish on it, then put it back in the finish in the kiln so that it would become shiny. So I still have that, and I have a head that I made when I was a student at Bennett.
Wow.
Oh my, that's a while back. Huh?
Yeah, that was a while back. A nice while.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. So what was Bennett like? Like, what were some things, some current events that were going on around that time?
Well, we had chapel every day except Wednesday.
Chapel every day.
Yeah.
Yes, that was something that I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And I know you and the other students that are here now, you don't have to go every day.
Yeah, we have ACES Thursday, and I think we have it now first Tuesdays of the month.
Oh, but
We
once,
had it every day except Wednesday and Saturday,
right.
So what was that like? What was chapel?
and had to go.
Oh yes.
Had to
We
go.
had special seats to sit in.
Yeah, assigned seats.
Assigned seats.
Wow.
But the discipline that it afforded us, I think that helped a lot of us obtain the things we needed to do in order to achieve the goals we had set.
Right.
So you all push a lot of buttons nowadays, don't you?
Yeah, I'd say we're very.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah.
But I came here in 1959 as a national science student. They paid for me to come that summer. I didn't have to pay any money, so I'm so glad, because I don't know how I would have done it. But that was a very good experience. Dr. Sales was my science teacher at that time, and I believe Mr. Name skips me. But the science department, because I was a biology major and a chemistry minor, and I stuck with it during that summer. That's what we did with the National Science Foundation. And when I returned here in the fall of '59, I stuck with that the same major and minor, which was chemistry, was my minor. But to make a long story short, I'm just as happy as I can be today, which is almost 50 years ago, that this lady stepped into my life and helped me to achieve whatever I have achieved. But some of the things that I have done help the people that I've met. And that's another thing. It's the way you carry yourself, and some of those ACEs and all the discipline kinds of things that we had been introduced here at Bennett has helped me achieve. I've been to Harvard. I went to Harvard, Yale, Princeton. I have not degrees, but I have certificates from those places just because of some of the things I think that I was introduced to here at Bennett College. So you never know what is in store for you, so you carry yourself in such a way that people will help you if you help yourself.
Right.
So I think that might have helped me get where I am. So anyway, I don't know what else I could tell you about my experience here, but it was wonderful. That's all I can tell you.
So what was it like being a RA director?
The RA director was wonderful as well. There were about 75 girls living in Reynolds Hall at that time.
Wow.
75 students. And those students were my equal as well as being, their leader. And I was married and had 2 children at that time when she gave me that job.
So Nurse Trammell, our college nurse, told me about Elizabeth and her situation. I said, well, I need a residence hall director, so send her to me. And our president trusted me. And when he first met me, I was living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And every time he would come, I had a carload of teenagers. And I would take them with me to our meetings. And he said, Mrs. Scarborough, I was Scarborough at the time. Miss Scarborough, if you should ever decide to move, I would like for you to move to North Carolina. He didn't know I was a North Carolinian. So he said, because I have a job on campus I would like for you to do.
Wow.
And I said, so when I got ready to leave, I called and he said the job was available. So I came back and started working at Bennett and loved every minute of it, except when he was going to promote my title to Dean of Students, but he had to give it to someone else.
Wow.
So pressure-wise,
Now, what was your title at that time?
Director of Residence Life.
Residence Life. You were the
Yeah.
Director of Residence
Yeah.
Life. That's right.
And some of the students who didn't have money enough to stay on campus or even come to college, I gave them housing. I had a house full of Bennett students and one A&T son.
One A&T son.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he said he came and he had met me through the students, and he called me Mom like they did. Some of them did, and he said, "Mom, I don't have any money to stay on campus. Can I stay here too?" I said, "Yeah, my sofas are pull out or Castro convertibles." Said, "So you stay in the living room to sleep, and when it's time for you to take your bath, I'll clean out upstairs, and you can go upstairs and take your bath." And he still calls me.
Wow.
And when he comes to this area, he comes by to see me.
Wow.
Yes, so I have a son that I did not give birth to.
That's so nice.
Yeah. And like I said, I had a house full of Bennett students who couldn't afford to stay on campus. So the president asked me once, how did I deal with them? I said, well, I act as their mother. I said, "'Cause if they're going to live in my house, they have to go by my rules
and regulations. Yes.
So, and they didn't seem to mind. And I had a parent, he was a minister, to call me and thank me for saving his daughter.
Wow.
And he told me how I saved her, because she was a little rugged at home, and her father was a minister. But I took her in, gave her the rules and regulations, and students from campus would come and visit, but not spend the night, and we'd play Rise and Fly, Pinochle.
Oh. That's right. We played a lot of cards on campus.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So, like I said, the president said I ran the campus. Now, Elizabeth can tell you whether I did or didn't.
Well, Mrs., you walk pretty tall around here. That's all I can tell you. You did.
Never raised my voice as a student.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Wow.
You walked tall. You got our attention without yelling and without doing anything. You same tone all the time.
And sometimes I have my arm around their waist,
Yes.
or shoulder, occasionally forehead to forehead.
Yeah.
I says,
might get pinched.
I'm talking. I'm serious. You listen.
That's true.
And they did. They did.
I know that's right. So, what were some of the fun moments you guys remember with coming to Bennett? What were some of
We
the fun
had
moments?
the coffee house.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had the coffee house. And on Thursdays, they had sort of a unscheduled dance. The guys would come over and we'd go in the coffee house, and sometimes,
I heard of that.
yeah. And my younger sister finished Bennett, and she said one night they were going to do fortune telling, and she was going to be the fortune teller. So she had her tent all set up.
Oh,
and
wow.
the kids would come in, and she would look in their hands, and she would talk about the line that goes around here. They have some meaning. And she would talk all that stuff. But we had a good time. It was not all study. It was not all study.
But then we knew we couldn't play around but so much.
Right.
Because we had some instructors who were very strict.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. And I can't remember all of their names at this time, but at the same
Give me one. Who was a strict instructor?
who was a strict instructor.
Were you a clothing major?
No,
you're a science major.
A science
She was
major. And I'm
biology.
trying to think of the guy.
Dr. Sales?
Dr. Sales, yes.
Dr. Sales.
Yeah, Dr. Sales. But now there was another person that's in my mind, but I cannot call his name. But I do know I have a picture with these pictures of these people on it that was made in 1959 when I was here for the National Science Foundation program. And I might just share that with you. And I might have shared it with someone here on campus already. Oh, Dr. Cotton has a copy outside of his office right now. I gave him a picture, and he has it up in his office. And I also talked to him about helping some of the students this year too.
Wow.
That is some scholarship, not a whole lot of money, but I did put a few dollars there. And he took that picture and put it up on the wall. I wish if I had just thought about it, I would have been more prepared today, because I have some things that I could have brought to jog my memory. But at the same time, I just am so delighted to have Mrs. Scarborough Hartnett here today with me and to talk about some of the things that happened so long ago.
Has it been that long?
I won't even talk about our ages, but I don't mind sharing mine.
I don't mind sharing my age.
Well,
I have been abundantly blessed.
Yes,
I know that's
me
right.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
You too.
You too. You're right.
Yeah.
We all have.
We all have.
But I'm 78. I'll be 79 this year.
And I'm blessed to be 91.
Oh my! Isn't that nice?
Still drive. Still
Yes.
do whatever I want to do.
Yes.
Still sing in the church choir.
And sing like just an angel.
And I always liked, the choir director wanted me to sing soprano. I didn't want to sing soprano. I wanted to sing second alto or tenor. So she had to let me sing what I wanted to sing to be in the choir. My maiden name is Rush. I never rushed in my life. I was pastoring the chapel, and our choir director was standing there. She says, "Miss Rush, how in the world did you get the name of Rush? Because if I would build a fire under your rear end, I get you a Rush." I said, "Miss Kellogg, only if it started to burn."
So who was the president when you were attending Bennett?
Oh, let me see. That happened to be Dr.
Ike Miller.
I know, ma'am. I came here in '59.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that was a lady, and that was Dr.
Player.
Willoughby
And that Willoughby Player, and that's Dr. Linda Bragg's.
That's not her last
aunt.
name now. Yeah.
Yes, that was her aunt, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Dr. Linda Brown.
Brown, yeah, Dr. Linda Brown Bragg, but you said Bragg because
She
was
was
her
married to
Bragg.
Bragg. Yeah.
But her name now is Dr. Linda Brown. And by the way, she's getting an award, I think.
Yes, at the Civil Rights Museum. But who was president during that
Dr.
time?
David Dallas Jones. Yeah.
So what do you
And
remember?
my father resembled each other quite a bit.
Wow.
So when the students saw when my father brought me over to enroll me as a freshman, and the students saw my father with his arm around my shoulder, they wouldn't speak to me for a while.
Oh.
And then finally someone asked me about it. I said, "That was my daddy." Then the attitudes changed.
Wow.
I said, matter of fact, my daddy had hair. Prexy had bald spots.
So what's some of the characteristics you remember of David Dallas Jones?
He was firm, and he could be very firm. Because I remember my younger sister came to Bennett. She wanted to go to North Carolina Central, and my father was dead had passed at that time. And my mother said, "If you go to college, you're going to Bennett." So she came to Bennett. But Prexy was very firm. One of the students got in some trouble, and he had the whole class to meet him in the chapel. And they thought he was going to have them to meet him in the afternoon. But he waited until 5 o'clock the next morning and called it and had them to meet him in chapel. And they were afraid not to go. So they were all sitting on one side of it, and he said to them, he says, I'm going to open this by saying this. Those of you who want to graduate from Bennett, move over to this side. And Joyce said all of them got up like somebody had directed them. They moved over to where he was told them to move if they wanted to stay at Bennett. So he was strict, but from my point of view, he had some kindness too. Yeah. So, because I remember, I think it was after my father passed, I was walking, he and Mrs. Jones was coming across campus, and they saw me and called me, and I was walking between them, and they had the arms around my shoulder.
Oh.
And the student said, "Oh, you're the president's pick." Not quite. I said, he's known me most of my life because he was been a part of the Methodist Church. And Bennett got most of his monies to operate from the Methodist Conference, the Black Methodist Conference. So the Methodists were separated, the black or colored and white. Yeah.
I remember the colored fountains and the white fountains.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember having to go sit in the upstairs in the movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that. Not just here, I also remember doing that at home and here, sitting in the balcony.
So
And
like
we had to
when
go to the side door.
Oh, we did too.
To
Down
go-
at
to
home
go
and
upstairs,
here.
sit upstairs in the balcony.
So some of the
Carolina
places
Theater.
off campus were segregated.
Very,
Yes.
very.
Wow.
Very
So
It was during the segregation time. Yeah.
so the movies, like what other places did you go off campus
Well,
that you were segregated?
let's see. The places you ate too. I
We
don't
had
care where you went.
chaperones. As freshman and sophomore had to be chaperoned to go off campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here in Greensboro, the movie and the places you ate, they would eat. Sometimes you could get waited on at the back door, and that's why they sat in at the counter downtown here, because the students decided we had enough.
The South was segregated
Yes.
quite badly.
The further south you went, the further it was segregated. I mean, it was more segregated. I mean, it seemed like the further we went south.
I always hear like the Bennett ladies, they never like walked alone or went anywhere alone. So like, did you and your friends, you went to a lot of places together? Like, how was that? But that had to be pretty
Chaperoned.
We were either we would chaperone each other sometimes, but we
Freshmen and sophomores had to be chaperoned to go off campus.
go off campus. That was a rule.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But whenever we were able to go off campus, because we were juniors and seniors, we could go off campus,
Right.
but you didn't go off campus alone.
Right.
You always had someone with you, and that was for safety reasons.
Right.
And of course, Bennett sisters are just taking care of Bennett sisters, and sometimes they didn't get along, but if one needed the other, they were there.
Right.
And that's just the way we were taught.
Right.
And we had assigned seats in the dining hall.
Yes, we did, as well as
in
the chapel.
in the diner hall?
Yes,
Yes.
eight to a table,
Uh-huh.
and you were assigned a seat.
And we,
And then you had the bell ringer for you to say your grace. You ring the bell for you to say your grace. It was a chime, rather. And then when she thought it was time enough for you to have said your grace, she would ring so you could stop, and then they would come out. And you had do the work as you had to carry the tray and serve it. We were served.
that's right.
plates
At the
were
dinner,
served.
at dinner.
Right.
At dinner. And we worked.
Yeah.
We had to learn how to set the tables.
Mm-hmm.
We had to make sure that the silver was in the proper places. We had to make sure that the glass and the whatever else we were using was in the proper
Right.
places.
Wow.
That's how they taught us how to dine out properly.
And
Etiquette.
Etiquette, yes.
then you were the hostess, and you have to ring the bell for the chimes, rather, for the students to say their grace.
Wow.
And when you thought they had enough time to say the grace, you would ring the chimes again. So because my hands were so little, I could not carry the big heavy tray with 8 plates on it served.
Wow.
So that I was one of the hostess in the dining hall. So sometimes the devil would get in me. And I would ring the chimes for them to say the grace. And then I said, one of the students said, we'll ring that by so we can eat. I said, say some more prayer.
Wow.
And we had fun. It was strict, but we would have fun.
Right.
And you had to dress in white when you went certain places, and you had to dress in black. So you didn't come to Bennett without a black outfit and a white outfit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that
to this day? Yep.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
One of the traditions.
Yep.
Traditions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bennett had many traditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gloves, hat,
Yeah.
whatever to go downtown. You could always tell a Bennett Belle.
She had a hat on.
Yes.
So who's Mom Mac?
Mom Mac was we didn't have a dean of students, but she was over all the residence halls. And Mom Mac could be something sometimes. She, my pastor and one of the other pastors in Winston-Salem came to campus, and it was after lunch hour, and I had finished my duties in the dining hall, and he wanted to talk with me as one of his parishioners. And Mom Mac saw me talking with him, and she campused me. Yes, she did. I said, Mom Mac, that was my pastor. You were supposed to be in your residence hall after you finish your work. You were not supposed to be talking to men on campus. So even my pastor, I couldn't.
You couldn't even talk to your
Couldn't talk to my pastor.
Talk to your pastor.
Yeah.
Well, nobody mentioned beauty work.
Oh yeah, the
beauty work.
It
Never
was
heard that
called.
before?
It was
No.
called duty work. Everybody, every
I
student.
thought it was
don't.
beauty.
It started out as duty work,
Uh-huh.
and finally, I think under Dr. Miller, they changed it to beauty work.
Beauty work.
I said that was one of what you call that, trying to play one on you,
Uh-huh.
so it wouldn't sound so bad, you know.
Beauty
so-
work. It was
so
beauty
my
work for me though when I came.
It was D-U-T-Y.
It was duty work.
Duty
Duty
work for
work.
you, but beauty
Beauty
work
work
for us
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
came.
Because I changed it from duty. 'Cause I said, well, not cheap psychology.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So cheap psychology. If you say it's beauty work, it wouldn't sound so bad to say
Duty,
duty work.
yeah.
You have to do. But we had. I think one of mine was working in the dining hall.
So what was beauty work for you?
I just like you said, dusting and sweeping and making sure that the parlor is kept in proper
Just so.
order.
Yeah.
And just make sure that people are. We had people who worked on the desk too in the dormitories.
Desk duty.
Desk duty, yes,
The students did that.
yes.
Yeah.
So that was all of these duties and assignments and what have you that we had. It was teaching you something that was necessary for you to move forward.
The bell ring for lunch and supper time.
Yes.
They had a bell ringer,
Yes, I remember
and the
that.
bell was right there beside the dining hall.
Wow.
Not dining hall anymore.
Chapel.
The art center.
Oh, the art center.
Yeah.
Between the chapel and the art center, the bell
The bell.
that
Yeah,
rings.
yeah.
Yes.
Then
And-
they built the bell tower to house the bell.
Wow.
Yeah.
And idle gossip.
Did you? I was
that?
gonna say.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting ready to ask.
yeah.
Have y'all know? What do you know about Miss
What
Ida
do you know
Gossip?
about idle gossip?
I learned that Bennett Bells would go there if they like heard some type of gossip, and they would lay it there, and instead of like talking about it on campus.
I guess. Is that?
No, Miss Ida Gossip was because the president. No, one of the professors was talking with a student, and he was going to be at the theater that night with his family. But the other student, when she passed, didn't know he had a family. So she heard him say, "I'll see you tonight."
Uh-oh.
And she started the story that they were dating.
Oh.
And the president called the student in, and he also called the student president in, and told her, "You find some way to get rid of all this gossip." So they got together and they decided they would have a funeral for Miss Idle Gossip. And they named it her Miss Idle Gossip. And they had a regular funeral. They had students who were the family members. And they had, one of the students was the preacher. They had a regular funeral. And they came out and buried Miss Idle Gossip on campus right there beside the chapel.
Right,
Yeah.
right near the bell.
Yeah.
Right near the bell.
And then when I came, they were doing such vicious gossip on each other. We decided that we'd have another funeral and bury her sister, Miss Vicious Gossip.
Okay.
Wow, so that's the story of, I always wonder, because everyone always asks, why is it a graveyard? And why is it a tombstone on campus?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what do you all remember about May Day?
Okay, right to May Day, wrapping the maypole.
Yeah.
Is that what May Day was all
Yes.
about? I thought so.
And you had a queen.
Yes.
You had the queen and her attendants. And I was her attendant in my freshman year, one of the attendants, because you had 2 attendants.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about that? That probably was like...
The wrapping of the maypole and her being all on they had a special platform that was all decked out and covered. And she was sitting like she was the queen for real. And each class had to do something special in her honor. So since I was one of the attendants, I didn't have to participate other than stand there in the evening. We had to be dressed with formal clothes on. So, and it was nice. It was nice. It was
actually a special way to wrap that pole,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
And
you
that
go
was
in and out.
in and out. And it was, you had to do it the right way or else it didn't look right.
Right.
So it was a
It
science
was-
or whatever to it.
They had to practice.
You practice and practice and practice.
Yeah.
Wow, so it was like a wrapping of the pole?
Yeah.
Yes. You've never
You
seen
had
that?
No.
what it was.
interesting.
Was it 8 or 6?
I know it was 6 or 8 or 10. I don't know.
Yeah, each person had a ribbon that
Uh-huh.
was attached to the top,
Top
of
of
the
the
pole.
pole.
And they would go in and
as
out.
they walk
under,
around the pole,
They would go under
in,
and out, under
in,
each other.
all the
yeah.
way.
And when they finished, it was a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And then they would unwrap it too sometimes, wouldn't they? And they would just go the opposite, I think.
No, I don't remember them ever unwrapping.
Unwrapping it? Well, maybe this was just practicing after you all left.
Okay.
Those of you who were in charge.
Wow,
No, I was a student that helped to wrap the maypole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
wow.
Well, I've seen it.
I told you I came to Bennett to honor my father. Yeah.
I just thought about something. It's been a little while, but I'm ready to hear what I heard about a week ago when we haphazardly came together in the Global Learning Center. And this lady was so elegant reciting a couple of things that I don't want today to go by without her doing it again, if that's possible.
Could you?
Yes.
Okay.
I was in church in the choir. I always loved to make joyful noises. Still making joyful noises in the choir at church. And I was sitting, is that when I was sitting on the flagstone base? And I was looking at the beautiful sky. It was just beautiful, pale blue. And it started to cloud up, and I ran into Myrna Hall and sat in the parlor. And this poem came to me. What is this the one? What is the reason for my life?
Yes.
Is it to help end hate and strife? And this was a conversation I had with God. So let me start again. I asked God, what is the reason for my life? Is it to help end hate and strife? But how can I this mission feel when I myself am not filled with thoughts of love for everyone? Lord, if this thy mission is to be done, bless me with love for everyone. Give me wisdom, courage, and grace. Help me mount each situation I face. And if this thy mission I am to do, from you, dear Lord, I'll take my cue. And if for this reason I was sent, please guide my life to be well spent.
Wow.
Yes. And
And and my life has been well spent thus far.
Wow.
Yeah.
And wasn't there a second one as well?
A second.
Something you quoted?
Oh. I went to church the other day, and at the altar knelt to pray. Even there I found no prayer to pray. My heart was cold, empty, gray. There was no need to wonder why. I knew I'd watched my marriage die. And now for strength to cut the tie, I can no longer live this lie. Again at the altar I will kneel and pray to thee my heart to heal, to take from me this hurt I feel, the beauty of love once more reveal.
That was great.
These things just flow into me. I'm not even thinking about them. Like I said, I was sitting on the flagstone base when I looked up and saw the beautiful sky, and then the clouds came, and I ran into Myrna Hall, and sitting there, that's when that came to me.
Wow. You ladies are very empowering.
A lot of my life started when she helped me. Believe me, because like she said, now my family, my last name is White. I never changed my name back to Patterson, simply because I had 2 children. And my son and my daughter got to visit me here on campus. I have a picture with them right in front of our Reynolds Hall. But it's like she just took me on her arms and told me, "You're not going home. Unpack your clothes. You're not going home. Wow. You're going to go to work. I got something for you to do." And as a result, here I am. After 2 open heart surgeries, I'm still here.
Wow.
Yeah, the president asked me once, he said, "What do you do to these students? Because I can't talk to one before they want to talk about you."
Wow.
I said, "Dr. Miller, if you don't mind me saying it this way, I just love the hell out of them."
But that's exactly what you did, because we left happy whenever we came around you.
Because sometimes when they would get in trouble, some of their friends would tell me, and I'd call them in, talk with them. I said, "Listen, did you come to college to be expelled, or did you come to college to get an education?"
So what do you think about the new Bennett Bells of today? Like myself.
Well, I was very impressed when I first walked in. There's still that, whatever it is that's special about Bennett is still present in, I wouldn't say all, but the majority. But then those who have not gotten it, they're working on it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if what I'm saying is the way you think, but I've met quite a few of them, but then too, not this year.
But this is a different time.
Yes, it is.
So they're with the time.
That's true, because they push buttons a lot, don't they? But to me, I got to learn, but that's difficult for me because during our time, we didn't have the computers and the technology available to us. But now, sometimes I think you all need to put down those phones.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'll agree with that. You can get in trouble with those phones.
Because it takes away some of the interaction that you all are missing.
Right, yeah.
But I know it's hard to not have it and use it because this is the age that you are growing up in.
But Elizabeth, you remember how we used to have residence hall meetings?
Oh, yes.
And the president would come and speak from residence hall, and we'd have special guests to come and speak.
Wow.
And they had to come.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because that was part of their education.
Do you all have that?
We do have meetings in the dorms, but the president doesn't come. And I don't think well, they say it's mandatory, but...
Well, they don't show up?
People do show up, but...
But what? But you know,
maybe get them in trouble.
No,
the students don't
get in trouble. But we took roll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we take roll.
But then if you're absent, you're going to have to go before that committee of people.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't know if that happens.
But-
yeah, they had to come to the resident hall meetings.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was required.
And we had guest speakers to come to resident hall meetings.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were trying to make us, by doing these things, they were trying to make us well-rounded.
Right.
And some of the things that we were taught, I don't think that I know you're not getting it, but eventually I think some of the things are going to be brought back because it's just a way of life that
Right.
helps you move forward.
Yeah.
Right.
And interacting is one, simply because we don't want to be replaced by robots, do we?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I heard no from the audience too, didn't I?
Yeah.
But it's wonderful to talk about these kinds of things. But when I'm thinking about getting involved, I don't carry my phone with me. I don't use it to text hardly at all. I don't have a computer. I had a computer. I learned to use a computer, and I miss it. But it was taking too much of my time, so it had to go. And it's because of my age and the stage of my life.
Right.
But if I was young, I'd probably be doing just like
Yeah.
a lot like you and the rest of your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being honest,
Yeah.
because you have to find a way to continue moving forward
Right.
and being graceful with it too.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure having you ladies.
Well, thank you.
You
You
changed
did-
her life, and you guys just changed my life just now.
Yeah. Take advantage of everything that you could come by with to make you a bigger person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking
Yeah.
with me.
I've enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah,
just
I
to
love
come
talking
and
with
do
young
this.
people,
Aw, thank you.
giving them some of the insight that I grew up and learned.
You want
You want to close out
Yeah,
with,
give
with
us
a
a
tune?
tune.
Yeah, give us a tune.
I am a poor pilgrim of sorrow. I'm lost in this wide world alone. No hope have I for tomorrow. I've started to make heaven my home. Sometimes I'm tossed and driven, Lord. Sometimes I don't know where to roam. I've heard of a city called Glory. I'm going to make it my home.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So as a tradition on the weekly ring, to close out, we ring the bell. So all you got to do. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yay!